Hey everybody, James here. This is my fourth attempt at making this video. It's always over 10 minutes, so I'm going to get right into it. This is a response to Mike Campocharo's latest video, Homosexuality and Humanism. Be forewarned, this might get graphic. Now, I'm going to take a slightly different approach to this, Mike. I'm not even going to address your bigotry expressed towards the homosexual male population, because I'm sure that the text commenters and my fellow video responders have done plenty of addressing of this issue. I am also going to bypass your misapplication of the word deviant, and I'm going to get right into the substance of your video. The first thing you object to is cross-species mating. And I must say that when you were talking about fucking a goat on a mountainside, it verged on poetic. Now, while I am not one to engage in cross-species mating, for a couple of reasons, the first and foremost being that I'm not aroused by the idea of fucking a goat on a mountainside, the larger reason that I object to cross-species mating is that I think that it is not possible for a goat to consent to being fucked on a mountainside. So I object to it because of the lack of consent, which is the same reason that I object to rape. I wonder why it is that you object to it. Now, what's interesting about cross-species mating is that it's not uncommon in the world around us. In fact, many plants that you and I enjoy in the supermarket are the result of cross-species mating. So if you don't like cross-species mating wholesale, then you should not like Granny Smith apples, or many of the other things that you probably buy in the supermarket. You should also hate mules, because no fault of their own, they are the result of cross-species mating, albeit with little human help. So, on to more interesting things. You spend quite a bit of time objecting to the ingestion of various things. Feces, urine, and semen. And I'll take these in turn. Now, if you object to the ingestion of fecal matter, then you're going to have to stop brushing your teeth, because as anybody who watches Mythbusters knows, episode 12 addresses the issue of the fact that poo is on your toothbrush and there's nothing you can do about it. So you're either going to have to revise your position, or you're going to have to stop brushing your teeth. Now, coprophagia, as it's called, is quite common outside of the human species. Most common within insects, and among insects most common among beetles. The dung beetle, for example. Now, in mammals, rabbits eat feces. In fact, they have to, otherwise they would die of malnutrition. You know why? Because the intelligent designer that made them gave them a colon that only has that much that can actually absorb nutrients from their food. So they have to process it once and then eat it. Which will bring me to another interesting subject later. Dogs are probably the most prolific of feces ingesters. They will eat not only their own feces, but the feces of other species. That rhymed. Now, the reason that they do this is probably because feces is actually very high in protein, which I'm sure you didn't know. So is the objection to the substance itself, the poo, going into the oral cavity and being digested? Because if that's the objection, then you should also petition God to get beetles to stop doing it, and rabbits to stop doing it, and dogs to stop doing it. Otherwise, there's no point whatsoever. Now, there are potential drawbacks to eating fecal matter. Hepatitis A, hepatitis E, pneumonia, influenza, and also intestinal parasites are potential drawbacks to eating fecal matter. But, I don't know if you noticed, none of the things on that list of diseases is a sexually transmitted disease. Urine. This I find particularly interesting, because drinking urine is actually very common. It is a common practice in homeopathy. In fact, urine therapy is purported to be an effective cancer treatment. I don't know how effective, but they say it is. It has detoxifying qualities, according to homeopaths. It's also practiced in many cultures around the world right now. The Middle East and India, for example, also parts of China, engage in drinking urine as a matter of course. Now, not only is it widely practiced in the world today, but it has been widely practiced throughout the world, all throughout history, as far back as the ancient Romans. And some people even think that it's mentioned in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, for example. Now, drinking urine is perfectly harmless. In fact, it's a survival alternative if you're in an inhospitable environment in which you don't have a clean drinking supply available. In fact, the key component of urine, urea, is commonly used in the health and cosmetic industries. So I wonder what your objection is here, because there's nothing harmful about drinking urine. Lastly, you express a disdain for swallowing semen. Now, this one is absolutely astonishing to me, because where there are problems with ingesting feces and not problems with ingesting urine, there is absolutely nothing wrong with ingesting semen. In fact, semen is very nutritious. It contains a lot of great stuff. Aside from sperm, it contains blood group antigens, calcium, citric acid, vitamin C, fructose, lactic acid, magnesium, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all kinds of stuff. Sodium, vitamin B12, and zinc. I'm going to link to this in the description. It's a huge breakdown. There's got to be like 20 things here that's in sperm. None of them are harmful. So what's your objection to ingesting sperm? Is it that it's male-male? Are women, are they allowed to ingest sperm? Is it the orifice into which the sperm is going? How do you decide which orifice is acceptable? Because you also express a disdain for the receiving of ejaculate in the rectum, which does no harm to the rectum. In fact, 100% of heterosexual couples, when trying to conceive, the woman always receives a seminal discharge in her vagina. And isn't that the grossest thing? And I think that brings me to my point. We have all of these things because they were given to us by our Creator God. At least that's the contention that you would have. Now, why would our Creator make us with all these things that are so disgusting? And how then can you call those things unnatural?